Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 0. And by God, if you're a neutral, that was boring. I don't care what anyone says. That was a boring game. I think, and I'm sure the Premier League would have hyped that game up as a clash between two teams that are going to be fighting in the the top 10. They're two top 10 teams, let's be honest. They're two top 10 teams, two good teams, and I'm sure the Premier League would have been hyping it up. But when that game finishes, I'm sure a lot of people, the marketing people, have been thinking, well, what happened here? Because this was just so one-sided. Now, if you're a Liverpool fan, I think it's exciting and it's a wonderful game to watch. This, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, if that was my team that had just beaten another team 3-0, I wouldn't be sitting and saying it was boring. Because it was. Because if you're a Liverpool fan, that was exciting. If you're an Aston Villa fan, that would have been so depressing to watch. But as somebody who has no skin in the game, it was boring because I think the game was done and dusted within the first maybe 30 minutes. Once that second goal went in, you just kind of knew that Villa had no way back in, because even though they created a few chances here and there, half chances, they just never had that conviction of belief that they could actually get back into this game and actually win it or even draw it. And that's bad. That's bad from a Villa perspective or from a Villa fan perspective, because you want to see fight. No matter what, you want to see your team fight. And I don't think we got that today from Aston Villa, which is sad to see. But that's taking nothing away from Liverpool. They were excellent from minute 1 to minute 90. They were excellent, never let up, always, on it. And I think Liverpool have this weird thing, isn't it? Where they have one bad season, then they have one good season, then they have one bad season. And now they're on their run of, they had their bad season last year. Now they're on the good season run this year. So, and I said it last year, so I said Liverpool are going to be title challengers next season. They're going to be fighting at that top level spot, no matter what happens at the end of the, whether they make it to Champions League, don't make it, doesn't matter. They're going to be fighting at the top end of the table next season, and so it has proved. They are doing that this season. I think they will be title challengers along with Arsenal. I think they'll probably, I've been disappointed with Newcastle, but I think Liverpool and Arsenal probably will be the top 3 along with Manchester City. Now, that's what I think based on what we've seen so far. It's still early days. It's only 4 games in. But Liverpool, for all of their flaws about the CDM and all that stuff, I think they just, and that will come back to bite them at some point. But I think they don't need a CDM in the way that they play. They don't need a CDM most games. Maybe against Manchester City, maybe against Arsenal, maybe against Brighton, they might need a CDM. But other than that, I don't think they need a CDM, because they're two midfielders. They were playing a 4-2-4 today practically. If you watch that game, they played a 4-2-4. And what they're two in McAllister and Jones, and I'm assuming there'll be Gravenberch later on, what they are, they're high-energy midfielders. They're high-energy midfielders who are good on the ball. They can carry the ball. They can pass the ball. And that's really what you need. If you have that, yes, they're, having an out-and-out CDM helps, because, he holds that midfield together. But in most games, particularly Anfield, you don't really need a CDM who's going to defend. If you've got two midfielders who are good going forward and good defensively, that can compensate a lot for the lack of CDM. And it looks like Liverpool are doing that. And mostly anyway, Liverpool play on the front foot. Like, how many teams actually come to Anfield to actually play against Liverpool and actually dominate possession? How many teams don't do that? Maybe, again, the aforementioned teams probably, but most teams will not do that away from home. They will not dominate possession even when they play Liverpool at their home. So I think it's a little bit overblown. But that being said, what they have is a deadly combination of attack. I think that attack, I'm struggling. Aside from Manchester City, I don't think any other team has that kind of attacking power that Liverpool have. It's just brilliant. And that first goal, that's just a brilliant goal from Szoboszlai. And it's such a good goal because the corner, I don't know if it was actually meant. I don't think it was intended. I think it's a bad corner that Villa should have cleared, but I don't know who it was. The defender kind of pulled out for some reason. He was getting there and then he pulled out, maybe because he was scared of skiting or something, but he pulled his leg out. It comes out to Szoboszlai. Right, it's a poor corner. It comes out of Szoboszlai, and when the goal goes in, obviously nobody's expecting the ball to be hit so cleanly, so well. It goes in, nestles right in the side netting. Emiliano Martinez is caught flat-footed. The Aston Villa defenders are caught flat-footed. But the most important thing, the commentators are caught flat-footed. How often does that happen, where a goal like that goes in and the commentators just stunned? They're like, "Oh, it's a goal. That's great." What's that commentary? At least on the feed that I saw, which was the North American feed. What's that? If you can find it, when the commentator of the North American feed, I don't know what happened in the British one, but in the North American feed, the commentators were just like, "Son, they didn't know what it is. It's a goal. What's a goal? It's been scored." I think even the fans might have been stunned. Maybe the mic was a little bit off, because I didn't hear a lot of cheers when that goal went. I think everybody was just stunned, like how that goal has gone in. That's so well struck. It was 1-0, 3 minutes in. And that's what Liverpool have been doing. They've been getting out to fast starts, and that's what they did again here today. And then it became 2-0. Nunez, I think today Nunez channeled his last season Nunez. I think he had his little bit of a resurgence, in the last game, and then he was back to old Nunez, missing chances, misfiring shots. This one again, it should have been scored, but he hits it on the post, and then Cash says, "Well, you didn't finish it. This is mine. I'll finish it." And they finished, and he finished it in. And for them, it was an unfortunate own goal, but it's no, they all count, and then they all count. And again, it came from Alexander-Arnold's ball over the top, who I will talk about more later. But it's 2-0. And I just feel like the air was sucked out of Villa's lungs collectively. I think they just kind of lost a little bit hope. And then when Salah scored that third, it's a tap-in goal. After all the speculation about him, whether he's going to go to Saudi Arabia, whether he's going to stay, the fact is I think he will stay at least for one more year. I don't think he will leave this season unless Liverpool get a bid like £250 million, which they're forced to accept. I don't think he's going to go. And the fact is that he scored a good goal. It's a good header from Nunez. At least he got an assist today. It was a good header. And it's a good corner again. The corner is good. I think they were good on set pieces today, Liverpool. I mean, even though that first goal was a bit fortuitous, as far as set pieces, I think they look good. And I think some of the delivery was really good. And they got that good corner in there. Nunez flicks it on, and Salah is there to finish off. Poor marking from Aston Villa, it has to be said. I think defensively, Villa were really poor. But that third goal was a good goal. And talking about Villa's defense, I mean, Pau Torres, what a poor performance today. I mean, he almost looked like Harry Maguire. You could have probably said that he was Harry Maguire if Harry Maguire was playing, because it's really bad performance from him. Maybe it was nerves. It's Anfield. That does start to a lot of players. When they go to Anfield, it's just the vibe is different, the atmosphere is different. It's unlike anything you'll ever see in an England ground. I think I can appreciate that, and I can respect that. And the fact is that Pau Torres, I think, just couldn't handle that pressure. He couldn't handle that. And once you make a couple of mistakes, once you get nervousness, then the crowd also jumps on you. And I think that happened to him as well. And he couldn't handle pressure. He made a lot of mistakes today. Hopefully he bounces back from this. He's got 2 weeks to, the international break to stew over this, to, pick himself up, and hopefully he'll show his quality in the next coming games. But today was not a good performance from him. As far as Liverpool, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he'll be my man of the match, because I mean, as much as everybody else played really well, and I don't think there's any poor performance in that Liverpool team at all. It's between Trent and Matip, because I think Matip really was very good as well. And that's saying something when in a 3-0 win, your man of the match is probably a defender. Well, my man of the match is probably a defender, because I just feel Liverpool, they've got so much attacking quality. They'll always score goals, right? That's just not a given. They're going to score goals. The question is, can they keep them out at the other end? That, I think, is going to define where Liverpool finish this season. It's not how many they score, it's how few they let in. And I think today what we saw was when Alexander-Arnold has got the space to really work his magic as a hybrid midfielder fullback, he's very good. When he has players like Matip and Gomez who can cover for him with pace, then he looks much better as well. And I thought today he was very good. Some of his deliveries were good, some of his runs were very good. Obviously had a hand in a couple of goals as well. So he's got that all-round performance. And don't forget, he was the captain today as well. So with that also, put a bit of pressure on him, and yet he came out of that with flying colors and looked very good. So well done to him. It's interesting what happens when Gravenberch comes in, because do he and McAllister continue playing as a double pivot, which they were doing today as a 4-2-4, or will it be a 4-3, a more traditional 4-3-3 with Gravenberch sitting? That will be an interesting one to watch. But that being said, I think Liverpool are kind of getting close to the combination of players that they want. So Bosley for me is an X factor, because even though he plays as he often plays as a left winger or a right, left or right, whatever, he plays as a winger, which allows Salah to kind of move inside a little bit. And that means that they can play a 4-2-4, or, when they're trying to be more defensive minded, he can actually play as an orthodox midfielder, number 10, or a central midfielder in a 4-3-3, and he can be that work rate guy who's just coming back and tracking back and doing the job. So I think he's going to be, for me, I think Szoboszlai could very well be one of the signings of the season, because he looks really good. He looks class, he looks quality, and you think that he costs, I think, about the same as Mason Mount did. You just see the difference, isn't it, in the gulf in class and the gulf in recruitment compared with some other clubs. But that's a conversation for another day. But well done to him as well, really well done. Like I said, there's nobody you can pick out. Maybe Nunez you could pick out a little bit, because he missed a few chances that he probably should have scored from. But again, it's not a big gripe, right? I mean, players are always going to have that. So I don't think it's that big a deal. And maybe from Liverpool's point of view, you might think, well, it's good he didn't score today, because he's got a limited number of goals in his foot. So it's better he didn't score today when other players scored. And then when you need him to score a goal, he can actually come up with the goal. So I think you could look at it from that perspective as well. From Villa's perspective, I think the one major thing is that I said this after the Newcastle game as well. I think Villa this season are going to struggle. They've got a lot of injuries already to deal with. Another one today with Diego Carlos out. So I think from Villa's point of view, look, when Newcastle smashed them, we all thought a lot about Newcastle, and then they've shown that they're not that good. Liverpool today smashed them. Are they that good? I think they are, but time will tell, of course. From Villa's point of view, I think what they will need to do is they'll need to look at this as how soon can we get to 35 points? That's got to be the goal. Get to 35 points, 40 points, whatever. Get that, Premier League status sorted. and then focus on the Conference League, because that is going to be their best route to Europe. They're not going to get into Europe, I think, via the league position this season. There's just too many games, too much going on. Try and get to that 40-point mark as quickly as possible, and then start focusing on the Conference League and win that, because that is a tournament that they can win. They've got a very good side that can win that tournament, injuries permitting, of course. And that's, I think, what they should focus on. I think that will be what Emery is looking at as well. I think he'll be saying, it's fine, let me just get to 40 points, 35 points, let me secure Premier League status, and then we can start looking at winning in Europe and moving into the Europa League next season. That, I think, will be the goal. And I think that's what they'll need to look at. But for now, I think the bigger concern will be all the injuries that they're having, and they'll want to keep players fit as long as possible. But nonetheless, like I said, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, I spoke a bit, but there's really not much. A performance like this, I was expecting a bit more of a thriller, not necessarily a 3-2, but maybe like a 4-2, 4-2, 4-3, something like that. Really was hoping for a high-scoring game. We didn't get that, and that's kind of disappointing, but such is the games. Anyway, share your thoughts on the game. Always love to hear your comments. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe it was exciting for you, even though you were neutral. Maybe it was. Let me know in the comments, of course. Do smash like on this video if you enjoyed it, and appreciate your support, of course. And do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're getting close to 410 subscribers on YouTube, so please do subscribe. We've got a few more videos coming today, so you will get notified with subscription to know when the videos drop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.